Hello, everyone. For Module 17, the question states that although many instances of stereotyping on television and in movies are negative, sometimes stereotypical characters is the only way for that segment of the population to be seen in the mainstream media products. Is it worth it? At first thought, I immediately thought, no, it's not worth it. It's horrible. It's bad. It kind of creates this negative environment for people that are not particularly educated on other races or just the ideals of other races as well. And then I also connected it at first thought with the cultivation theory stated in the lecture that said whites who are heavy TV viewers are more prone to stereotype blacks as lower socially, economically, due to a lack of initiative and not a lack of opportunity. And that was kind of my mindset in the beginning of it. And then I kind of started reflecting more on the various stereotypes in televisions and in movies. And yes, there are some that are predominantly bad. They're just they don't really fit the context of the message. They don't really fit the context of education wise. But there's this one very important series that I watched on Netflix that was called When They See Us, and it has these African American children who were racially profiled by a police officer and then convicted for a crime that they weren't even a part of. They were just kids and they spent years in prison when they didn't even do the crime, and eventually they get out and everything like that. And there's various stereotypes in that movie in the sense of whites being more in power, of African Americans being less educated, and so on and so on. And I think that there's definitely some. I mean, obviously this is based on a true story, but for the series itself, they emphasize these stereotypes even more. And I think that this was a more educational way to use those stereotypes. It brings about all of the negative effects and the negative downsides of the color of your skin might have on someone's life. And I think that kind of played a very important role in kind of getting across to the mainstream media, like this is a true story. This really happened, you know. And I think that while the notes talked about how white TV viewers can particularly stereotype blacks as being socially economic, just being lower in the sense of that, I think as well as you can get the negative downsides from the stereotypes that are particularly negative, but you can also kind of get a lot of perspective as well from various shows. And I think that it would be better for TV shows and movies to kind of eliminate some of those unnecessary stereotypes that then create this idea of being normal. So it kind of relates to the cultivation theory in the sense of like that becomes their sense of reality, that becomes their sense of normality, because at the same time, like, it doesn't particularly mean that it's someone's fault if they're kind of viewing something as normal and stuff like that. But I feel that if there's a lot of backstory, if there's a lot of educational purposes behind what is going on, and there's a lot of learning process, I think that there can be a very, very, very important message to that factor. Because in the show, When They See Us, there's not so much of like, oh, dude, like that guy's just better than this guy because of his skin color. You know, there's more context to it. There dives deeper into it, and obviously it's a show, it's a series, so there has the ability to kind of dive deeper into the foundation of everything like that. But at the same time, there's a lot more to it than just having a stereotype and not really bringing about it, to then kind of having the viewer then apply to that cultivation theory where they just view something and see that as normal and see that as just how the world really is, you know. And then later on it says, based on the materials from the module, what effects of these stereotypical portrayals, and what effects of the absence of any of these portrayals. And just like I was stating before, the effects of these stereotypical portrayals, I feel like there's the positive side and there's the negative side. Obviously, there's a negative side of when whites who are heavy TV viewers then rely more on the stereotype of that blacks have a lack of initiative, Hispanics tend to be more lazy and stuff like that. Then that kind of then plays in factor of the cultivation theory. I think I keep kind of relating back to that because I feel like that plays a very important and very just like concrete like explanation of like what is going on in this situation. Because at the same time, like, yes, there is like that that stereotype occurring, but at the same time, viewers that are watching that, viewers that are unknown of various factors that are going on around the world or the real world per se, then they then view TV and then they see that as the reality over time if that's continuously happening. But on the flip side, there's some positive aspects to this. There's the ability to learn more about another race, another gender, another just the unknown. And I think that that's very important to kind of apply to these, because I feel that we shouldn't eliminate stereotyping in the media, in television and movies per se, but I think that we can do a better job with then kind of having a message, having a meaning behind it, and having some explanation behind it to then allow the people of the unknown to then learn from that. Thank you.